I wanted to start out, though, with a kind of a brief intro from my tradition and share with you what touches me about justice and peacemaking. In Jesus' very first public appearance, he said, "God's Spirit is on me. He's chosen me to bring the message of good news to the poor, sent me to announce pardon to prisoners and bring recovery of sight to the blind, to set the burdened and the battered free, to announce this is God's year to act." About a few months ago, I came across, y'all know Chance the Rapper, one of his new tunes called First World Problems, in which he kind of calls out himself, but also us, and at the end has an invitation to ask. And I want to share just a little bit of that. I'm just going to keep rapping, and y'all keep clapping and keep happing like Flint got clean water, and y'all don't got teen daughters and black friends and gay cousins. Y'all just going to say nothing? Know that the day coming. Knees bowed, tongues confessing, the last one's getting first dibs on blessings. If you want to stand out, step down. And the chorus chant says, "The day is on its way, it couldn't wait no more, here it comes. It's on its way, it couldn't wait no more, here it comes." And in a powerful conclusion, he says, "The day is on its way, it couldn't wait no more, it's here." The moral revival, the repairers of the breach, the new poor people's campaigns, all are happening right here, right now, today, calling us to rededicate ourselves on this day to service, to justice, and to humanity. If we're awake, stay awake. If we need to get woke, do it. Let's wake up, put on our walking shoes, and walk. Amen.
Good morning. My name is Lauren Nakai, Navajo, and we're just going to do a kind of a salutation to those four directions. And again, just want to say hello to all my five-fingered relatives. On this land before, a long time ago, it was based in love and generosity. It was based on unity. It was based upon the understanding of the world that we walk on. It was based upon an understanding of how we treat all our relatives. Not only, but we also had the understanding of the sacredness of the women, the life givers, the teachers. We also had the understanding with the protectors and providers, the masculine energy. We even had an understanding of two spirits, those that had the qualities of both, and those that had that power, those that had those teachings. So this morning, again, just to welcome all of our relatives, all our five-fingered relatives, however you got here. If you got here by boat, if you were brought here, if you were maybe a first generation and your families flew here, whatever it took for you to be here today, we just want to acknowledge this day as Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Yeah, man, the proclamation for this being a federal holiday. And how long has that taken for this day to come? We just want to say thank you all for being here. I'm going to bring out a fan, and I'm going to offer energies to the east, to the south, to the west, to the north, and for all of us today. And then I'm going to offer just a prayer song. A prayer song, you might call it a flag song, but it's about all of us here together, all of us as human beings, all of our relations. The song just goes out to acknowledge those directions, and acknowledge our relatives out here in the audience, and acknowledge the relatives to the west that we haven't met yet, those words that will be spoken, those thoughts that will be spoken, for the direction this world is changing today, and today, wisdom, knowledge, understanding of the elders that are looking down upon us, that they bestow upon us the blessings of insight, knowledge, wisdom, of what it is to be a human being today, what it is to understand that we are all of the human race, and if we discriminate against one of us, we discriminate against ourselves as a human being, as a human race today. I hope that understanding goes out upon this world today, and those healings come today, that love comes back into the hearts of men, that wisdom comes back into the minds of men, and that care, generosity of what we are doing today will carry on for not only this next generation, but those that are coming this way.
Thank you, Mignon and Lauren and Pastor Jerry for the beautiful opening blessings. Welcome, everyone.
Morning, Rocky.
So grateful to see so many people showed up this morning to celebrate the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King. My name is Rocky Zapata. Thank you, Millie. Coffee's ready, everyone. All right. So my name is Rocky Zapata. I'm with the Auburn Hip Hop Congress, and I'm with the planning committee for today. I apologize for my reading, but as you see, we've had a lot of work to do. I'm going to start my talk with just some basic housekeeping. Restrooms are in the back through that hall to the back right. We got our entrance that you guys came in, and through this hall there's another exit just in case we need that for any reason. There's a resource table along the back wall on the left where you can find literature, flyers, and any other sign-ups or things to learn more about the things you hear about today. And there's a sign-making station in the back for the kids. We also have refreshments that were provided from Millie and the whole committee. Yeah. Please feel free to get up kind of orderly and get some stuff. And at the welcome table, if you haven't already, please be sure to sign in. And if you want to get updates about next events that are coming up. And also, Natalie wanted me to let you guys know that we do have more chairs. They're trying to bring them out slowly and fit them in. So if you need chairs or if you specifically need one, just flag them down. All right. And then our thank yous. I just want to really thank our sponsors and everybody that made today possible. General Gomez Arts and Event Center. Couldn't do this without them. The Sierra Foothills Unitarian Universalist Social Justice Committee. Auburn Hip Hop Congress. And the entire planning committee for today, which is Millie, Leslie, Lisa, Natalie, and myself. Depot Bay for sponsoring the coffee for today. And everybody else that helped make today possible, every little detail today and leading up to today. We appreciate you all. And now I want to tell you more about the program today and some of what you'll be seeing and hearing about. There will be live music and poetry, community voices, a youth choir. We'll be singing songs of freedom like we should on this day. And we'll close with a march to the fire pit with our elders, where there'll be native drumming and a blessing with Stan Padilla. The overarching theme of our program today is passing the torch. Not just passing the torch, but sharing the torch and carrying the torch together. Shining a light on all the great work being done locally right here in our town and in our county. Shining a light, acknowledging and raising awareness about the efforts being made and the individuals and organizations behind those efforts. With hope of helping build a bridge, bridging the gap, connecting more individuals to the causes that are important to them and should be important to us all. So as we hear from these voices in our community and about the issues and work being done, I hope and I challenge you all to ask yourselves, what issues are closest to your heart? And what can you do to help support the efforts you hear about today? What level of commitment are you ready to make in 2018 to make this world and our community a better place, a more peaceful, accepting, loving, inclusive of everyone? So as we hear from these voices, let us be proud also. This is our community. These are our people that are doing this work, and they continue to do this work, and it takes so much work and effort, so many hours after, and it just takes so much of our life to be able to commit the way that we do. And I feel the same way about everybody we'll be introducing you today. Because that's what it's really going to take, us working together beyond any lines or borders to make a change, rallying support and mobilizing people to take bold steps forward towards greater action. The march continues and we cannot let up until our kids can inherit an earth that does not measure them by their income or the color of their skin. Until we see the dream that Martin Luther King fought for, worked for, and gave his life for as well. A dream that he believed is possible. And while things today are far from perfect, let us also appreciate the progress in each achievement that's been made. Today we add our footprints to a march that has lasted for years and spanned generations. We join here together to acknowledge the leadership, hard work, and sacrifices that he made and many others like him, to pay respects to our elders and listen and carry forward the lessons that they share with us, and to march alongside one another as equals always. I thank you all for being with us today, sharing this space and time, and I hope you enjoy what we have planned. And I was going to say something about AHHC and hip-hop being a vehicle for social change, but I don't have enough time. I only have enough time for a quote. So before introducing our MC for the morning, a quote from Chuck D of Public Enemy. Real hip-hop, I had another quote in mind, I guess. I should have used that one. All right. Thank you for the backup. That was perfect. All right, so real people do real things. A collective of a whole bunch of people who do things in their own locale, in their own neighborhoods. The sum is bigger than the parts, and the parts will grow. And now to introduce our MC for the morning. This is a brother I've grown very close with over the years. One who I've looked up to for a long time, who I feel honored to work alongside with, and who, in my opinion, exemplifies being the change, walking the talk, and always showing up for the things that matter, being of service to others. He is a founding member of TPR, the People's Revolution, and creator of Kitty Hop Daycare Preschool, designed specifically for low-income children in San Francisco. A man of great character and a father who always puts his daughter first. I see it and I respect it so much. Truly, it is my honor to introduce you all to Anthony Harper, a.k.a. Please keep the applause coming as Ghost makes his way up to the stage.
Good morning, everyone. How you guys doing today? Yeah. It is, I'm gonna be honest, before I even, get into what I'm gonna say in introducing people, it is it's beyond an honor, and not just for me, but for all of us. We are the embodiment of a dream. A dream that one man saw fit to stand, and I don't know how many of you even know really truly how the I Have a Dream speech came about, but he didn't plan it, he didn't write it. In the midst of the march, in the midst of a speech, Mahalia Jackson had mentioned at one point that he should mention the dream, because they had a conversation about it. Martin Luther King saw something that a lot of us who are sitting here see in each other, which is that we were not defined by the color of our skin, nor the race or the culture that we came from, but we were defined by the love that we carried. And the ability to be able to stand on the foundation of creation and understand exactly what it means to be loved is what he embodied. There are children here, including my own, who could not have been without that foundation of love. They could not carry on the promise of something greater without that foundation of love. And while we're here, we should take note to the fact that that dream, albeit is alive within all of us, is not fully realized, but it's not forgotten either. Now, today we do celebrate and honor the life of Dr. Martin Luther King and the legacy founded on dying love to see humanity rise above the constraints of race and the manacles of bigotry and hatred. We gather under the banner of a dream of a profound belief that people can be judged not on the color of their skin, but the content of their character. A dream that saw redemptive value in the honor and suffering birthed from the unrelenting spirit of love in the face of an oppressive society. A dream that isn't forgotten. So as we spend time in this facility, we spend time communing with one another, we spend time reflecting on what this day means to you personally. Take time to think about the fact that we are the continuation of the dream. The dream has not died. Though it may have not been fully realized, it has not died. But there are forces to be that are out there right now that are trying to create divisional walls to divide each and every one of us so that we don't do the one thing that he understood would change it all, which was to stand together. It will be hard, truly. It was hard enough to sit here for a minute without feeling an overwhelming sense of emotion coming over me. Because I have a little girl who I'm raising up to be the next generation of this. I know people who have kids who are willing to give it all for them, to sacrifice that they may know a better world. But again, there are those out there who want to see all of us divide against each other. And they will create the most trivial of all of them, which Dr. Martin Luther King understood and he knew, the most trivial of divisional walls that we could ever use against one another is based off the color and the pigment of your skin. It's sickening that there are those out there right now who would like us to revert back 60 years, 70 years. It's sickening to think that there are those out there who would reduce the human and other human beings down to nothing simply based on how they look. But it's also a bright and beautiful light and a beacon on the hill that shows us a promise of hope that we are all here because of something greater than that. And the real understanding of the dream is this, that no better time than right now to stand up. No better time than right now to be the voice. No better time than right now to unite under the color of love, which has no color at all. Under the banner of understanding, mercy, grace, compassion. Under the understanding that we can with each and every one of us here and everyone. And the beautiful thing is, we're not the only ones doing this right now. You know what I'm saying? There is a nation right now with millions of people who are gathering in cities across this nation to stand under the banner of love and a dream, to forward it, to be the continuation, to see something great happen in this generation. Why? Because they need us to. Because one day, she'll be that. One day, he will be that. But it was because we stood up right here, right now. And we said that the dream is not forgotten. And we said that we would give our own lives for something greater than ourselves. Because we said that we were actually united in a time for which someone else and others would say that we are completely divided. That's the beauty of this today. If you take anything away from this experience, please take away from the experience that we are love. We were created out of love. The human problems that exist, we created. But if you look at all of creation, there is so much beauty to behold. But it was all created out of love. So we stand here today, not only on a dream, but on the foundation of creation in and of itself, which is love. Love for this creation, love for one another, and love for a promise of a greater future, which we have the power to change, which we have the power to do something about. But it's going to take every single last one of us. And I'm blessed because I came from a family. I just got done being with my parents up down south. And my mom is Portuguese. My dad is German. I'm Puerto Rican. Right? Right? My older brother's Korean. My older sister's Korean. My godfather was a Black Panther. Right? So when I say that I know what it means to be a part of something that was stitched together with love, I really do. And my mom and my dad were talking about this last night, and my mom said to see 40 years later that little baby that she adopted would be raising his daughter to become one of these leaders of the future. That she instilled in us the values that we were all human. Martin Luther King wasn't a tribute to his race. Martin Luther King was a tribute to the human race. What he believed was not simply that his daughters could stand together with white children, but what he believed truly was that his daughters and the future generations could see beyond race, that we could see each other for what we really were. And again, it's hard to even fight and hold back tears because I think about how that's all I want for her. But I also see what we're facing right now. We all do. This is real. What they did on August 28th, 1963, was united 200,000 people under the banner of love. And it wasn't simply blacks who did this, but it was everybody who did this. You had whites, you had Hispanics, you had pastors, you had reverends, you had Muslims, you had Christians, you had everybody. And for one moment, one man stood up there and he destroyed every single divisional wall at a time where there was nothing but division. Again, what are you going to take from this? Find your voice in all of this, but not only find your voice, find the voices that link you to something greater. A greater love, a greater understanding. I want to introduce now two people. First off, this is my daughter Amelia. And truly, before I came up, I went over to her and I whispered in her ear and I just said simply, I love you and I do this all for you. And I say that because really that's why anybody who understands what I'm feeling right now knows exactly why we're here, knows exactly why we're doing this. That's it. So yeah, I want to introduce real quick, we're going to have Patty Lethbridge, who is a musician, an educator, a music educator, and also a very good friend of mine, somebody who I not only esteem and not only love, but I respect and I'm inspired by, which is D. Pierre Butler, and they're going to sing, and actually I should say this too, the song that they're going to sing, Bob Marley's Redemption song, if any of you really know the history of Bob Marley, know his history of his songs, this was the last song he actually wrote prior to passing. And the lyrics itself, take a moment to really meditate on this lyric. You know, he said, these songs of freedom, they're all I ever had. He believed that through his music, he could create a love that would create a redemptive value and hope in others. And then he passed. So, without further ado, D. Pierre Butler, Patty Lethbridge.
How are we all today? Good. Thank you. Before I attempt to honor this song and the man who sung it and wrote it and lived, and also my fellow countrymen, Jamaica, stand up. You hear me now? There's just one thing I want to say, and when I speak, let not the words be all that is heard. Listen to the feelings which bore them, and allow that to correct any distortion caused by the inaccuracy of my speech. Old pirates, yes, they roll by, so high to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing a song of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, yeah, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves could free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy. None of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill your book. Won't you help to sing another song of freedom? 'Cause all I ever had, yeah, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves could free our mind. Have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Some say it's just a part of it. but we gotta fulfill the book. So, won't you help me sing another song of freedom? 'Cause that's all we'll ever have. Redemption songs. Redemption songs.
Okay, we don't have the lyrics up for this, but it's an easy call and echo. You look smart. I think you can do it. I am the hope, you are the courage. Together we are more. Ready? I am the hope. I am the hope. You are the courage. You are the courage. Together. Again, I am the hope. I am the hope. I am the courage. You are the hope. I am the courage. You are the hope. I am the courage. Together we can face unknown tomorrows with the strength of what we've seen. We can reach the far horizon, see the forest and the trees. If we join in faith together in a love community, we will know the world as heaven in its love and unity. I am the hope. I am the hope. You are the courage. You are the courage. Together we are more. You are the hope. You are the hope. I am the courage. I am the courage. Together we are more. We can hear another story, and its voice will shape our own. We can witness life's heartaches, and we need not feel alone. We can learn new ways of knowing, till our deepest hopes be known. We can honor all the journeys and bring all the travelers home. I am the hope, you are the courage. You are the courage. Together we are more. You are the hope. Let's hear it, Delilah. You are the hope. I am the courage. I am the courage. Together we are more. We are the hope. We are the courage. Let's hear it. We are the hope. We are the courage. Together we are more. One last time. We are the hope. We are the hope. We are the courage. We are the courage. Together we are more. Together we are more. Together we are more.
Together we are more. This portion of the event, we're going to do what they came up with is the passing of the torch. And really, this is recognizing, obviously, as people come up, we're going to be recognizing these individuals and the work that they do in the community. This is just as much importantly recognizing you guys as well. This is about recognizing the sacrifices that are made on a daily basis. I mean, most of us, some people have traveled really far to get here. I know Pastor Clay and myself have come all the way from the Bay Area. Others have come from even further, maybe closer. But it's about the continuation of the work that's being done and passing on that work to the next generation. So I know the kids have this makeshift torch that they got, and they're going to pass it around. And I guess it's just to symbolize for all of us this work that's being done, and all that, the suffering, the sacrifices, and everything that comes with it. So I don't know, where is that though? Oh, there it is. Yeah. So again, as we recognize the people that come up here and speak today, and as well as we recognize the musicians and the poets and everything else, we also want to recognize the moms and the dads, the grandpas and the grandmas, and these, the brothers and the sisters, aunts and uncles, and everybody in here who strives to make this world better, and the continuation of your work as well. So I definitely want to give a round of applause to everybody who's in here.
Good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Nope. Just flick the on switch.
How's everybody doing? My name is Doris Romero. I am co-founder of California Dreamers, and I'm also representing the Placer County Youth Commission. So, although I've been active in the community since I was little, never the amount of such as this year. This past year, I came out of the shadows as an undocumented immigrant. I lost my protection, deferred action for child revivals, but it also built my character. I found strength and the inner voice. I'd have to say that the biggest accomplishment, personally, was being able to be a voice for someone who didn't have one, to have the strength to speak for them. And to humanize immigrants, to put a face to the issue. We see it every day in the media, we see it constantly everywhere we go, especially nowadays. And it's so important to put a face to it. And the biggest moment for me this past year was being able to sit with someone who had never met an immigrant and tell them my story and touch their heart. So today I pass the torch in hopes that you too continue to follow the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. I hope that you have the courage and stand tall to challenge the negative portrayal we see of immigrants. I hope we continue to fight for immigrant rights as if your future depended on it. Because for your neighbor, thank you.
My name is Tomas Evangelista, and I am also the co-founder of California Dreamers. And we're an organization that speaks up for dreamers and other immigrants, but we also give a voice to the vulnerable and the voiceless. And our organization does more than speak up for immigrants. We also engage our youth in the community to serve, just like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did. But we engage everybody to speak up for the injustices that we see locally and nationally, because an injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere. So our greatest accomplishment this year was to help the homeless in our community, not only through feeding them, but to sitting down and talking with them and getting to know them, and to let them know that they have people out there fighting for them. Because we want to give them hope, and that's what Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. did to us. We want give that to everybody else that we come in contact with. Our focus for 2018 is to pass the DREAM Act. So that immigrant youth can finally feel like they have the safety and the opportunity to grow up in the country, the only country that they know as home. And we need to continue to fight for our immigrants all over the world, immigrating where they feel that they are safest. And you guys can help us do that this week. We are setting the deadline for this Friday to hopefully pass it. And what we need everyone here to do is to call or write your congressman, even if you don't like to or like them. But we need your voices to help us push forward this solution, because people like Doris and I and other youth in the area depend on it. So you can do that by joining us in a phone bank Tuesday and Thursday in Roseville. And we will have more information in the back. And we will also have postcards for everyone here that it's already mailed, that's already stamped. And everybody just write a note, and that will help us move forward. Thank you so much.
My name is Travis Lange. I work for Sierra Native Alliance, primarily with our youth programs. I'm Maidu, so my people have lived in the foothills of this area of California for as far back as you'd care to go. Just something I thought of when I was told they were going to be passing me a torch. I think my goal as a person, and our goal as Sierra Native Alliance, is not only to pass on a torch, but to create more torches. And I think that's really important, because even when we're not doing the important work that we're doing and interacting in the community, it doesn't mean we're passing on the torch like we don't have one anymore. We're just passing on the flame from our own torch to other people. And I think that's kind of an important lesson that just came to me. So as Sierra Native Alliance, one of the biggest questions I always get is, do you have to be Indian to partake in the programs? And no, we don't discriminate. Programs on from Native American or non-Native American. We have a lot of non-Native people. We're a community organization. We try to aim to serve those populations that tend to be outside of the service provider areas. So we're able to provide things like transportation for our youth and adult programs for those who have challenges with that. So we're pretty fortunate in that way. One of the favorite things that I do in my first experience with Sierra Native Alliance is our youth camp. And I think that's a really important thing for our youth. We're able to provide this 4-day camp experience for youth of all different ethnic backgrounds, cultural backgrounds, socioeconomic backgrounds, and it's a place, 4 days, no cell reception out there, no internet access, none of that, where we get together and we do cultural things, we tell stories, we have great keynote speakers, and our focuses for the day is on belonging, mastery, interdependence, and generosity. And I think as an organization, that's kind of what we want to promote and continue to promote in 2018. Thank you.
I am going to talk a little bit about the Sierra Foothills Unitarian Universalist Social Justice Committee.
Yoo-hoo!
Yeah. All of you youth out there that wave the torch at me. The SFUU Social Justice Committee and the congregation focus for the past year, for the last 18 months actually, has been on the issues of water and food as it relates to water, which includes climate change. This was accomplished by letter writing campaigns, films, forums regarding fracking, stopping the Bear River to Centennial Dam, Standing Rock collections and donations for warm clothing, solar power, which a lot of people have been picking up in our area with, and climate change, staffing the Earth Day booth, and long-standing supporter of the Auburn could be, Interfaith Food Closet, and a longtime supporter and sponsor of today's Martin Luther King community celebration. And I want to say that this is our 34th year that we are doing this in Auburn. Our first time that we did this in Auburn 34 years ago, we had maybe 25 or 30 people come and celebrate with us. So this warms my heart to see everyone here today. Thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Eddie Barraza, and I'm proud to be representing the Auburn Hip Hop Congress. Yeah. And I also represent the Youth Empowerment Support Program, otherwise known as the YES program, kind of part of Placer County. Hip Hop Congress, we reach out to kids, invite them to writing workshops. We do things in the community like this. But with the YES program, I'm more new to it, but it's really cool because I get to give back the struggles that I've had from being a foster youth and an emancipated minor, coming from a really dark past, but I get to give back to at-risk youth, and I get to give back to those who don't have much or are on probation or drug court and things like that. And I get a one-on-one meet with them and relate with them, share my experiences, and kind of connect with them. And that's my job, and it's more new to me, but it's in my mind making change that needs to be made in the system. And so some of the things that I'm trying to do this year to make more change in our community and in my life is make an album that speaks to multiple genres of people, so that you can really hear where I came from and do things like that. Working more with Hip Hop Congress at my job. And then I'm also proud to announce that I'm working with Exit the Pipeline with Pastor Clay over here and Austin. And Exit the Pipeline, that's just us reaching out to juvenile halls, and we're gonna be going in there with talking about incarceration and you know, how there's racial profiling in that, and just certain things, so we can go into juvenile halls and do events at colleges and share facts and statistics that are true, but at the same time sharing music so that we can make a change in the system with music. And that's kind of what I'm doing in the community.
Before I read this, I probably should give some context behind when I wrote this. This was following after the Charlottesville incident, where the white supremacist took his car and plowed it through a group of protesters, killing several individuals. I struggled as I watched news footage of this, as I'm sure most of us kind of did. But I struggled not with what had mostly occurred. Obviously that was huge, but I struggled with how it made me feel, because as most of us, I think, we become conflicted with the ideas of anger and hate and love and understanding, because I think each and every one of us feels that way. We can feel both anger and hate and feel love and understanding. It's an inner conflict within us, but it's up to us, because hate is not real. Hate is simply displaced and misunderstood resentment or anger or any of these other things. It's not real. Love, though, is real. Love is a state of being. Like anybody who's a parent in here, you love your kids from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to sleep. But I can't tell you one person in this world that I hated from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to sleep. I can't, because I don't think hate's a state of being. I think hate is just misplaced anger. But I think love is a state of being. So please bear with me as I read this because some of this may seem uncomfortable for you, but the name of the poem is Our History. It's not just my history, it's our history. I know what it feels like to be treated like less than a human being. Cops sicking police dogs on me screaming, "Get that nigger," is actually a part of my personal history. Racially profiled walking home down my own road. Wow. Never would have known skinheads. Never would have known. Skinheads jumping out of cars fighting me and my squad. And I still, at the age of 40, my head holds the scars. I remember being told that my parents were nigger lovers because they adopted us. And going home crying. And still my parents would tell us not to judge. I had a soccer coach that was Jamaican, a godfather that was a Black Panther. My mom is Portuguese, my dad is German, my siblings are Korean, and still I can't find the answer of why we hate. Listening to elders say that they used to beat Mexicans because they wouldn't speak English is something I couldn't relate. I felt dismayed because I can still feel the presence of this within the fabric of my reality today. Seeing it replayed over and over and over and over, thinking, when will this be over is all I can say. I'm trying not to succumb and break to the weight of this hate, but this is crazy. I'm looking at my daughter who's part Puerto Rican and El Salvadorian and thinking, what does this mean for her if we bankrupt humanity? What will the inheritance of her earth be? And if I scream for their blood, what is the hate that she'll learn? We can't fix the wounds of the world with more words of cancer. So I'm gonna take a chance, sir, with love. Stand with anyone who's willing to stand with us. I don't care about your color, your creed, your gender, your religion, your socioeconomics, or your classism. All I care about is creating a change that will last so that they'll have something that's different. Now, as I'm sure most of you understand, like, we didn't come here simply because of the fact that it was by chance. I remember speaking to one of my brothers not that long ago up here in the hills of Auburn. I had a close friend who I'm about to introduce. And I told this person that we made it here because we were meant to always be here. That it was everything that ever happened collectively brought us to this point so that we would be stronger, so that we would be what we were called to be. So as I introduce this next person, I want you to understand that we have all been intricately brought together here by love. And this person, I have a deep, resounding love, respect, and almost a sense of pride of knowing that there's a person like this in your community who's doing this work too. So I want to introduce you guys, she's ready, to my good friend and a fellow warrior in the struggle and in the resistance and in the movement, Miss J. Ross Pirelli.
Holy moly, I'm singing songs. This was requested. I wasn't going to do this, but it's been requested to sing this song, so we're going to rock this for you guys. Woo! If you know this song, you can sing along with it. Oh, shoot. Will you turn it back one more time? Bring it back. Rewind if you're in Jamaica. They'd be like, bring it back! Yeah. It's true. I believe in miracles, I do. You are a miracle, I believe in you. It's turned off the song, but that's okay, we don't need to sing along. My phone died, that's alright. We'll keep on rocking, we're keeping it right. My people, how you feeling? Can I get an AO? So instead of singing song, we're gonna move on to introducing Vanessa, and then we'll work this back. That was just a short little interlude so you guys see what's coming up next. Thank you for coming and being a part of this. I have the absolute joy. It seems like we all pretty much love each other as we introduce each other. This is an incredible community to be involved with. It's an incredible community to have my son grow up in. You guys are amazing for supporting such a cause, such an event. Thank you for being here. So before I introduce this next person, can you just shake hands with the person that's next to you and say thank you for coming? Someone you don't know that you did not come with, and say, it's nice to see you. Further ado, I believe this is the highlight of the whole entire show because this is the reason we're here. But I would love to introduce Miss Vanessa Poli to the stage, and she will introduce.
Wow, there's a lot of people here. Sitting in front, I cannot see how many people there is. I'm Vanessa. I am going to introduce our youth choir. And I have had the pleasure of working with most of the kids in here at Peace Camp as well at Alta Vista Discovery Club, where I am the director. Oh, this is okay. All right, so if you guys want to join me, I will introduce you. Rosanna. Woo! You guys can raise your hand if you want to show them who you are. I have Hannah, Simone, Amelia, woo! Max, Delilah, Brianna, Gabrielza, Taylor, and McKenna. And Kalia. There we go. Okay, let's see if I can get where it starts. Should we start first? I don't know music. Okay.
is truly what this is about, you know. So we want to get into the next part of the passing the torch. The next torch carriers work in equality, represent veterans, individuals, and families touched by incarceration, homelessness, poverty, and access to services and substance abuse. So give a round of applause for that right now.
How's everybody doing? Can you guys hear me? All right, my name is Clay Rojas. Some of you guys might know me from my role as one of the pastors on staff at Parkside Church. Very happy about what's going on there with the youth program and Road to Recovery. But today I just want to talk to you guys really quick. 3 years ago, 2015, we decided to start an organization that would walk along with families of prisoners. And we started providing services to their children, such as counseling and providing them with outlets. And we also provided services to the rest of the family left behind. We've gotten the opportunity over the last 3 years to help over 50 families, like really help them, connect them with food, connect them with medical services, how to process county paperwork, how to navigate the justice system. We've had access into the courts, both in juvenile and adult court and beyond. Going into 2018, like Eddie mentioned earlier, we're starting an organization called Exit the Pipeline, and our mission there is really now to move from educating the youth more to educating the rest of the world about the prison industrial complex, the private prisons, and the business of incarceration. And we believe that that message, I really believe that this is a message that a lot of people aren't aware of because it doesn't really, a lot of people don't talk about it. And so if you want to learn more information about Exit the Pipeline and support us, you can go to exitthepipeline.com or see myself, Eddie, or Austin somewhere around here. But thank you guys for this time. I appreciate it, and God bless you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jen Gomes. I'm so honored to be a part of this event. Thank you so much for asking me to speak. I have worked in this community for the last 13 years, battling everything that attempts to keep us down and lie to us. And I spent a good portion of my time providing treatment in transitional housing for men and women coming out of incarceration and battling recidivism, working diligently to come up with a solution until I realized that a solution wasn't really wanted, and the perpetuation of the monster was very powerful. So I lost a lot of hope, and I took a break, and now I am back. I was hired at the Auburn Homeless Shelter as a detox coordinator. Originally, I was hired out of a grant from Project Go. I started when it was wet shelter, meaning come as you go, no matter what substance you may have put in your body or what. It was a real challenge to try to talk people into getting clean and sober when they didn't have to. Then it shifted to a dry shelter where it was required to be clean and sober. So I was able to take the funds that I had and fill in any gaps in the county where funding was not available, and there was not a lot of funding available at all. So when the funding was exhausted, I shifted to case manager, where I spend every day with these men and women. I've experienced a lot of racism, bigotry, separatism, discrimination, but none quite like the homeless. In a society that is literally gauges people and measures people's human worth on their economic status, somehow has given people the feeling that they have the right, as tax-paying, hard-working citizens, to slander these people. What I've seen in this community has shocked me. I try not to look, but what's been created is nothing short of a hate group here in this town. But I will say, on the other hand, I've seen also huge uprising of community involvement. The community church is showing up every single night to feed them dinner. Thank you so much. I know there's so many of you here. We're not only a shelter, we have developed an entire program. I teach a drug and alcohol group called the Freedom Group. We have housing groups, but it's hard. I'm not going to say it's easy. We do our best to shine light and inspire these people every day. Each one of them has a story. We've had doctors, we've had lawyers, we have people caught in the grip of addiction, mental illness, but we also have, college master degrees speaking 5 languages in that shelter currently. So we do our best to lift them up. A lot of them have thousands and thousands of dollars saved, and they cannot find a home. They cannot find a home. So we do our best to continue the work we do. Looking ahead in 2018, I am very excited that I will be launching my own nonprofit called Wolf Community Development Corporation. My family and my children will be heavily involved. I will be passing the torch to my daughter, and she will continue this work. And I want to thank each and every one of you for wearing your eyes and removing the glasses that have been attempted to be placed on people, to see people as separate, to see people as the others, and to just really show your love to people. Say hi when you walk down the street and you see one. Say hello. They're there, they're not invisible. Thank you.
So we administer philanthropic funds for donors in the community. That's the primary service that we provide. And as such, our donors are making grants to individuals in the community, also to work that's going on throughout the state and actually internationally, just to really make people's lives better. But with that, in 2017, we decided that we needed to shine the light on the need for affordable housing in this community. And as many of you know, half of the people who live here really can't afford that home. And that means that they can't afford the median home price if they are the kind of person that is capable of purchasing, but also the low vacancy rates on rentals. There's just nothing available for people. So we joined a coalition of many of you in this room to shine that light and have been working with the county. And I just am really proud to say that in the last year, the county's not only hired someone dedicated to affordable housing, they've adopted a housing work plan, and we'll probably see in the next few years the first 80 units of affordable housing being bid at the Work campus. So how can you help? PlacerHousingMatters.org. If housing is a priority for you and you want to join our coalition, PlacerHousingMatters.org, and then you can get plugged in that way and we'll be in touch. Thanks so much.
I'm Shelley Rogers, and I'm the director for the Coalition for Auburn and Lincoln Youth. And I'm also with Community Recovery Resources. They are our parent organization, the sponsoring nonprofit organization. So our coalition's mission is to prevent youth substance use. And our vision is that all youth are free of substance use and have every opportunity to grow up healthy and with promising futures. And how we focus on our mission is we work with the community. I'm honored to be here and to have had the opportunity to tell you a little bit about our work. The kids couldn't say it any better, said it better than I, but just, alone we can't address this. But together we can, like Helen Keller says too, right? And at a time when there perhaps is currently, there's never been a time where substance use maybe hasn't been as much of a concern as it is now, and doing as much damage to not only young people but communities, and so it's important, and we do this by working with the community, a representation from all sectors, all people that work in all sectors of the community, young people, people of all ages, races, people who have their own experience in this. And you know, an example of that is, you know, we can't work on this issue that impacts young people without young people being involved, right? I don't know what it's like to be a young person walking on the campuses of middle schools and high schools and elementary schools even, which is where we're seeing this and where, you know, we need to educate youth and parents and give people tools in the community on how to prevent this. And when it gets to the point where they've already begun to experiment and do this, we need to be able to make sure they have access to resources and supports. And that's where Community Recovery Resources comes in, is the treatment side of it, and Jen, and the work that Jen's doing in the community as well. And so, anyway, I appreciate the opportunity to tell you a little bit about our coalition and what we're focusing on, to invite you all to be a part of it. We have a new website, raisingplacer.org. And I invite you to go on the website. It's a new website. Give us any feedback you may have. But one of the biggest things that we're focusing on is having resources on there. So parents can go on there and see resources and ideas, ways to have these conversations with young children, ways to help get someone help for these issues. So raisingplacer.org, and I invite you to be a part of our coalition. You can contact me with the contact information on that website as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you. My name's Ken Tokatomi, and basically I'm with two groups. One is the Salvation Army of Auburn, and the Salvation Army of Auburn is the organization that's 165 years old. Some of the board members are here. Jim Holmes back there is on our board. Deborah Nesbitt, Desbert Cox Nesbitt is on our board. And I want to give you it's a faith-based organization, and we have, I wanted to talk about, we went up to Weaverville this summer for the fire up there. And I want to talk about a God moment that I experienced. And we were down in downtown Weaverville, and the fire was coming up the hill, and we could see the flames coming over, and it was going to come over the hill, and the town was going to be evacuated. And we were with the Red Cross, and we sat there, and we had a prayer there, and right after our prayer, the wind shifted and the rain started. So that was my God moment for the year. But the power of prayer. I'm with the Forgotten Soldier Program. I'm the president of the organization. And the Forgotten Soldier Program, we're based down at the big two-story blue building right next to the State Theater. And right next to that, there was a weed-infested garden, a weed-infested lot, which Donna Orange, who is the executive director of the program, talked to the owners of that and told them that we would like to bring that piece of property back to life. And this year, so about 5 years ago, they went in and they got a grant, about a $30,000 grant from Home Depot, and they went in and rehabilitated that, brought that piece of property, brought its soul back, and now we have a community garden down there. It has garden beds, which you can rent out, which helps us defray the cost of the water. And if you walk back, we have a meditation area. And the meditation area is back down there as a labyrinth, and we're in the process of developing the area, and I'd like to have a Japanese influence since, as you guys all know, I'm part Japanese. Anyway, also the Forgotten Soldier Program does integrative health therapy, which is, and you guys talk about drug abuse, addiction. Big Pharma has done a great job in making a lot of addicts of people who have pain, and integrative health therapy is a non-pharmaceutical method of treating that. It's a non-pharmaceutical method of treating veterans who have PTSD, and we are doing that at no charge. So. So the VA in their treatment of vets sit there, and I talked to one of the VA doctors, and he says they budget 15 minutes per VA visit. And so as a doctor, what do? You talk to the guy, you feel bad, you give him a prescription of OxyContin, he's addicted down the road, and we're trying to prevent that. And it's something that I have personal contact or personal experience with, and I truly believe that we need to find a different way to treat all of society and all of veterans. Thank you. If you're interested in helping us, we have brick sales down there. To have a brick, you can honor your dog, your family, your girlfriend, or your wife, or whoever you like to. We have bricks that we're selling, and Donna has a book that talks about integrative health therapy. Thank you.
Before I introduce the next performer, I do want to say something to all of you about what I think is important to take away from every single person you hear speak right now. Every single person you've heard speak about what they do, they make huge sacrifices in their lives. Much like Martin Luther King, much like myself, much like a lot of people who choose to hold up the mantle of social good in doing things that impact other people's lives. They make huge sacrifices in their lives. A lot of us do not get paid or do not get paid well. We have to hold our families up and do other things that support our families so that we can be a support in our communities. That's one point. The other point is this. We are inundated within a society that tries to teach us that you yourself do not have the ability to be an impact on anybody else's lives, and that is a lie. It is not true. We're inundated with so many problems in our media, which is a propaganda system built to create fear and induce the feeling that you can't do anything, and it's a lie. It is not true. Every single person in this room, every single person has the ability within them to create love, life, inspiration, hope, and a promise of a greater future within others. You heard a numerous amount of people who spoke about different things that they are passionate about and they're out there doing right now. You can get involved, all of you. I don't care how old you think you are or how young you think you are. Everybody has been given the ability, a God-given ability, a creator-given ability to be able to impact other people's lives. That's why we're here. And I don't mean that's why we're here in this room. That's why we're on this earth. We are placed here to bring light and love. So don't think for a second that you don't have an ability. You have an ability. You find something you're passionate about and you get with some other people who are passionate about it and watch change be created. That's what we do. These organizations were spawned from a thought. A thought. And from it, lives have been changed. And each and every one of us has an opportunity to do so. So if you take, again, anything away from this, take away what are you going to do? Next, I want to introduce somebody who spoke earlier. I want to introduce my man Eddie right here, Raza. You guys enjoy this.
I just want to say a couple of words before this. This song is not finished, so I don't have this big verse for you guys, but I do have the production that I put behind this. And I did this in my bedroom after watching some of the videos that came out on the news over the last year. And that really touched me and got to my heart. And I found a Martin Luther King speech and I kind of put it in the music. And I hope you guys can just listen while it plays.
I come to say to you this afternoon, however difficult the moment, however frustrating the hour, it will not be long, because truth crusher will rise
much time do we gotta take? And how many hearts do we gotta break? How many mistakes do we gotta make before we the people become awake? Before we stop the lies and recognize that all we got is each other. We putting all this hate out, distracted up and spaced out. Like how much time do we gotta take? And how many hearts do we gotta break? How many mistakes do we gotta make before we the people become awake? Before we stop the lies and recognize that all we got is each other. We putting all this hate out, distracted up and spaced out. Like how much time do we gotta take? And how many hearts do we gotta break? How many mistakes do we gotta make before we the people become awake? Thank you.
Victim to a system that only let time slip in front of television now. Times I only pick grip, walk, victory dance, by chance I run into love. Got my hand to show me what's up. I'm searching for some pleasure to ignite the flame. I'm constantly bombarded by fame. Morality constantly surrounding me. Body like faith, I ask to be free. I don't need no billboard to judge me. I'm gonna say I'm already checked my feet. Now it's time to my slave as I'm wondering where the world went wrong. 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 It's true, it's true. I believe in miracles, I do. You are a miracle, I believe in you. It's true, it's true. I believe in miracles, I do. You are a miracle, I believe in you. One more time to sing, y'all. Say ayo, ayo. Say ayo, ayo. Say ayo, ayo. Say ayo, ayo. Everything is gonna be alright. Sing that. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Can we get all the children up front? And we're gonna keep singing. Everything is gonna be alright. 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 You think it's gonna be alright? Yeah. You think your future's gonna be alright? Make some noise if you think you're so happy to be here and everything's gonna be alright. Wow. So I have the pleasure, the opportunity, the blessing to introduce this next amazing, amazing beloved individual. This woman has done so much for this community, has started so many peaceful movements for women and for people all over. Can y'all please welcome Leslie to the stage?
How's everybody doing? I'm inspired. I don't know, are you? So amazing. Well, I just wanted to thank just a couple of people really quickly here because, just as Rocky said at the very beginning, there's so many people that have helped with this event. But I would like to really thank you, Anthony. You're just helping to keep it real and keep it ongoing, and I appreciate that so much. Thank you. And I want to thank Dave Beckman for doing the sound. I want to thank Mignon Deli for her flute playing, her beautiful flute playing. And Patty and Pierre, of course, for their wonderful music. Thank you. And all the people who have performed and have spoken so far, thank you so much. It's been just an amazing event. We're not done. We still have to hear from more people, and we have Stan Padilla, and then we're all going to get up and, march down the street. So, but most importantly, we can't do this each year without you. We really need all of you to help, and one of the ways you help is by helping with some money from your pocketbook. So we're going to pass around the baskets. We have the children helping at either end, so if you're feeling generous and you haven't already donated, some of you already have, and we really appreciate that, but if you haven't, the baskets will be passed around, and this helps us plan for next year, and half of the proceeds are going to go to the planning committee, and half are going to go to this year's Growing Peace Camp. Nice. Which is the place where children learn to help live out Martin Luther King's dream. And so we support that every year with this event as well. It's the first fundraising to kick that program off the ground, which takes place in the summer. So the children's choir kids are going to help with passing the baskets. And while they're doing that, I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about the resource table in the back. When you have a chance, please stop and take a look at what's going on back there with all of the resources that are going on in this community. The people who've been speaking today have left material. We need you. We need you to get involved. We need your presence. We need your involvement to help make this community an even better place for the people who are living in it. So you might want to see what you can find that's important to you, that touches your heart, that you can be involved in, and talk to some of the people who've spoken here to find out a little bit more about what they're doing. So I want to thank you, and I think I'm going to turn it back over to Anthony. Thanks very much.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Montgomery. I'm from the government, and I am here to help. So I'm here just to talk about Saturday, next Saturday, this coming Saturday, the 20th, the second annual Women's March. Who's going to be there? So just a couple of quick things. It is called the Women's March, but if you think about it for just a second, the word men is in there. So women, men, anyone who does not have a binary gender choice, you are all welcome and invited. Please come. So the event actually will leave Southside Park, which is the intersection. I think we talked about intersectionality a little bit, but that is the intersection of, I believe, T and 7th. Placer County is going to have a wonderful, wonderful representation there. We do have a Placer County meetup spot. There is a statue that is surrounded by kind of a metal fence right by the pond in the middle of Southside Park. We are going to meet there. I'm going to try to be there at 9 o'clock. I believe Veronica Blake Lovejoy is going to be there at 9:30. It's the meetup spot for Placer County, so if you can get there, please do get there. We want to have a great, great turnout and a great representation from Placer County to say, hey, our voices are being heard, and we are sharing that flame, sharing that light, and carrying the torch, not just for our generation, but for future generations. So again, this coming Saturday, the 20th of January, meet up at 9 a.m. at that statue. It's between the lake and the stage at Southside Park in Sacramento. If anyone needs information about how to get there, please reach out to me. I've got a bunch of email links I can send you with information about transit, parking, all of that. And if anyone has room in their car, put your hand up right now. Anybody got room? I see one at the back there, one right there, a couple over here. So if anyone is looking for a ride, carpooling, very, very important. So help us carry the dream on. Help us really take that action that Martin Luther King called us all to, and let's make sure that we keep having our voices heard, the voice of the foothills, the voice of Placer County. Thank you all.
Once a month on the third Monday of every month at my church, and we talk about issues like how to come out to your parents, or gender identity, or whatever they want to talk about, really, is what it boils down to. And also we do dances. So quarterly we do a dance, we do a Valentine's dance, because for a lot of these young people, they can't dance with the people they want to at school dances, or they'll be bullied. And so we create a safe space for kids to come and dance, have a good time. It doesn't just have to be gay kids, it could be their friends, allies, anybody who's willing to support them. And so that's what we're doing. We're going to continue to do that into 2018, and we would love any of your help. Any of you who are willing to partner with us to make Placer County a more safe space for young LGBT teenagers, we invite you on the journey. We were at the Rockland School Board when they were freaking out about the trans kid, and we'll be any place else where injustice is happening. All right, thank you.
Are we blessed to have you with us this morning? Yes, we are. Thank you for your time commitment that you've given us this morning. We're going to speak. Rocky's going to introduce Stan. We're going to sing you out to your march. So we are almost there. So I appreciate your patience, your willingness to be with us. Well, it was good morning a second ago. So, Buenos tardes, family and tribe. My name is Lisa Joseph Bach. I am an educator, an activist, and community organizer. I'm here today to remember, witness, promote, and provoke action toward the legacy of Martin Luther King Jr.'s dream. No? We say yes. From Little Rock with a dream to end segregation and rejoice in our diversity as a universal family. From Stonewall with a dream to end isolation and alienation of our family of LGBTIQ individuals. From Vietnam, Desert Storm, and so many others with a dream, may there be no more wars inside or outside the United States. From personal recovery, being with family, living and dying with AIDS and HIV, and family navigating our almost unnavigable criminal justice system. From a veteran that welcomes Stand Down and a two-spirit warrior that lives Standing Rock. My intersectionality as an individual and member of this tribe believes and dreams of health care and housing for all. A welcome to all who want to be here peacefully, and a belief that we are all tribes that must work together to heal and grow. As diverse as we all are, look around you at this amazing room. We all have our stories, and they all have some kind of intersectionality in them. You are members of my tribe. You are members of my family and a community where dreams, even faced with overwhelming odds and undulations in the road, we get up. We stand up. Together, we are the change agents. And look at this beautiful sisterhood I get to stand up here with. This is the joy of my day.
Hi, my name is Natalie, and I helped organize this. And mind you, you can only be as organized as your mind is. So things have been a little crazy. Thank you for hanging with us. We had to mix up a few things. And when I was thinking about intersectionality in my life, I think it might be, because I'm with friends, in my ability to fully reject and embrace something at the same time. And a good example of that is the education system. The way we're doing it, I reject a lot of that. I reject a lot of the inequalities that go on in the education system. I reject a lot of bright minds being stifled and squished, and it doesn't always happen. It doesn't happen to every child, but I also embrace fully a love of learning and education. And I also raised my daughter. You saw Miss Vanessa up here earlier. She's 21 now, and I couldn't be prouder. But she did grow up here in Auburn of mixed race, and it was really important to me. I mean, I'm not the expert on this by any means, but it was very important to me to instill the love of learning about your culture and your roots. And from this big, she knew about Martin Luther King. She knew about civil rights. She knew to be proud of who she is and her culture. And I think that it really worked out in the end, because when she was in junior high, she did experience racism. She did experience name calling. And I feel like her being so knowledgeable and proud of who she is and her culture made her not only, of course she was affected by it, but she rose so far above. She's a young lady who strives to do better and better and better. And I think just through that knowledge and that knowing who you are, knowing your culture, being proud, learning about all of our cultures, we do that in a lot of our programs. And I guess, is that right? Is that intersectionality?
That is
okay, good. I was struggling with knowing what the word meant. So, and that's my story, and this is one of my best friends right here.
First of all, it's amazing to be standing with these women, but my story is one that is not often talked about. So I had to write it down just so that I got it right. But I remember driving down to LA to attend a conference based around education and how we were going to assure that underprivileged students get the same opportunities as anybody else. I walked in this room ready to grow, ready to create, ready to build, and I was inspired. The discussion was thick, and I remember hearing white people in the room apologizing to black people in the room for everything they've ever had to endure. I remember thinking, why are they apologizing? They didn't do that. Why do they feel bad? I mean, my ancestors died in the most horrific slaughter known to humankind, the Holocaust. Do I need to apologize? It was my turn to speak. And I remember so clearly and unquestionably, I said, I don't see color, I see love.
Yes.
I see beauty, but I don't see color. I could feel stares as strong as Cuban coffee down my back. A grown gentleman began to cry. He said, you've never had to walk down the street and see women clench their purses, or walk in a store and be watched every move you are followed. You've never been called names, described by skin tones with enough power to curse your whole family. You've never had a family shot and killed for walking down the street. You've never been beat, lashed, and sold as property because of the color of your skin. You've never. To my shame, I still didn't understand. I replied, but if we don't have water, we don't survive. And California is in a drought. And we need to focus on water to feed each other instead of skin tone. This time, the backlash cut even deeper. Tears that carried decades of generational depression. Pain that stole children from mothers and killed whole villages, turning royalty into slavery, families into enemies, communities into strangers. You've never. And the truth is, I will never. I will never understand what it's like to have darker skin. I will never understand what my son will go through. I can only stand here and say, I am aware. I'm not embarrassed of white privilege, but I am aware that I wear a skin tone that comes with a privilege that other people don't understand. And so I say, I wish, I hope, I pray, I do whatever it can to change that one day we can see love and not color. But today we do see color and we embrace it. We embrace the struggles, we embrace the challenges, and we stand as comrades and allies to anybody who needs us. I stand beside this woman right here with visions of beauty for an amazing future. But I also know that right now we need to be aware. We have to be aware of what we come with. And this comes with a privilege that many, many will never understand. So as I stand here today, I just want to give you guys love, let you know that we are here. We are totally here if you need to talk, if you need to cry, if you need a hug, or if you just want to talk about what we can do to help. We are totally here, and we do see color, and we are aware of color, and we do see love, and we see beauty. Thank you for breaking up the craziness, you guys. Thank you for being here.
One more time, put your hands together for those three who just stood up here. I see them each as queens in my two-feathered tribe. I love you guys. And the work you guys do, it inspires me and has changed my life and transformed me in ways I can't describe. All right, so I'm not supposed to be talking a bunch. I'm supposed to give my update on Auburn Hip Hop Congress. So real quick, we serve teens, we serve young adults, we serve all ages, everyone in our community. Wherever we see the need or the opportunity, we try to provide and create opportunities. Beautiful, beautiful. I can't wait to have you in the band. Can we record that? All right, so real quick, we bring the community together through music and arts. I don't know why I'm reading my notes. I know this stuff. We try to provide leadership opportunities and opportunities to grow, and we try to bring the community together in positive ways and create platforms like this where people can speak their truths and live in their truths and feel comfortable in our community doing that. In 2017, we had our most successful year yet for our programs and all of our workshops. We're actually funded now for 3 days of the week for 3 of our programs for the whole year. We're reaching more youth and we're getting the opportunity to work with some of the most at-risk populations in this community. Through our partnerships with mental health and probation, we've been allowed to be able to continue this work and empower this work and embolden this work. We get to design curriculum and programs that directly meet the needs of the kids that we see every week. We get to bring out artists and leaders from all over our community and actually across the globe to come teach what they've learned in their time and what they want to share back. And like myself, you know, we also get to shine a light on lived experience and people that have been through struggles, people that have been through addiction or come back from a life that many never thought they would. We get to reach those souls and tell them and demonstrate to them that we are successes and that they can be whatever they want and they have support. And we get to do that every week and continue that ongoing with kids that reach out and get involved with our programs outside of juvenile hall and outside of the schools we visit. In 2018, our main focus is advocating for students, parents, and for teachers, addressing inequities in education, and we are committed to taking a more active role in school board meetings and bridging the gaps between school and community because we see a huge detriment there. Our call to action is this. If you have a child in the district, or if you're just passionate about education and equity, find out how you can be more involved in the decision making that affects our kids. Join us for Placer Union High School District Board meetings that we'll be attending every week, or twice a month. And learn more about what's happening at our alternative education schools right now, like Chana, which is now called Confluence, and they got moved over to the Placer campus on 4 modulars and lost their campus after 30 years and one of the most high reputations in California for charter schools. I just want to say, you know, we need to know that, and we need to know more about what's going on in our schools, decisions that are being made over our heads, and how parents and students and teachers aren't being heard. They're not being listened to and included in some of these conversations, and it's on us. It's on us to step forward, step up at these meetings and to raise awareness and to bring the issues to the table and to not back down, but to come with an open heart as well. Anyways, please find out more. We have dates for every board meeting coming up, and we want to hear about what's going on in your kids' education and what you want to see. So, thank you. Passing the torch, carrying the torch together, learning from one another, and sharing in the footsteps of this march. This is the opportunity for us to show love to our elders, to learn from our elders, and to, you know, continue the fight that they've been working towards for so long. And with that, you know, I just want to take a moment to say that I grew up out here in Auburn for the most part, very disconnected from my roots as a Native American, very disconnected from my Latino culture, and I went on a very different path, and it took me a lot of years to find my way back, and I'm blessed to have. But like in my new life, I've been able to grow in ways I can't describe. But it's been through meeting people like the next person I'm going to introduce, and I'll just say his name, Stan Padilla. He's gonna offer us our closing words in just a minute. But I just wanted to make sure that you all, and especially him, know how much his influence and his mentorship and his friendship has meant to me, and just that you've been a guide that I didn't realize how important you would be, and just seeking the truth about myself, my past, my future,
and how I can exude what you've been able to accomplish over your time. I'm just so grateful to call you a mentor, and grateful to walk alongside you and to learn from you. Thank you.
I concur with Rocky in every sentiment of that. I had this kind of thing. They asked me to do maybe 4 or 5 minutes of something, a poem or something. And I really didn't have anything prepared. I wasn't together on that. However, the Spirit moved me to write something. And so I'll condense it and make it real short, but I just wrote this sitting in a chair. And it just kind of covers what this whole process, this whole meaning about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is about. And really so much, and this may be controversial to some, but it's really not about him, the man. It's about an idea that he spoke about. It wasn't created with Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He was just a powerful voice, a figure who delivered us the message. He was a messenger, he was a prophet. He was someone that taught us about ourselves. And oftentimes that had to do with the cruelty of mankind and how we can treat and mistreat each other. With all that said, it made me think of some other people, and I'm going to read these off to you. I have a dream today, and still I rise. Yeah. Still I rise. Like Maya Angelou in the face of adversity and challenge, the sun will shine in the morning, baby. I have a dream today. Yet still I rise like Harriet Tubman in hidden train cars in the dark. Buried underground in places of no return, freedom is abound. Freedom is abound. I have a dream today that still I rise like Rosa Parks. Paid bus fare, tired feet don't lie. Mama said always to sit right, child. You have rights, child. I have a dream today, but still I rise. Like Coretta Scott King in lonely houses with hungry babies, ain't always a holiday. Burning crosses don't fit the fireplace. Sugar ain't no warm and fuzzy feeling here. My mama always said that some people don't believe that fat meat ain't greasy. Baby, you gon' rise, son. You gon' rise. You gon' rise, son. You gon' rise. You gon' rise like the sun, my son. You gon' rise. So still, I rise. I rise because I have a dream today. Real quick, I couldn't even muster up the words to kind of describe Stan. He's been called a friend. I've called him my partner, my buddy, my confidant, my mentor. I call him Pop from time to time. First started here in 2004 in this building, Plaster Arts. Sean Baldwin, these are the people that greeted me, and Stamp did. And he immediately took me under his wing. Not in so much as the, proverbial hug or handshake or anything like that. It was spiritual. It was deeper than any other kind of connection. It wasn't purposeful in the sense that I'm gonna tell you these things and this is what I want you to do. These are the guidelines I want you to follow. This is the road that's been paved. None of that. It was a spirit between two people, two men, two human beings being delivered on the same path. I don't know that I can speak any higher than the men in my family and the people that have
led me this far than him. So without further ado, please, would you stand and welcome Stan Padilla.
So everybody, don't sit down. This is it. This is our time. Don't sit down. Gather your things now. Good words only amount to something if they mean something. And we put them in action now. We're gonna get moving. That's what a movement is. You take all those pretty words and all those symbols and you put them into action now, and that's what we have to do. So gather your things. We're not coming home again. Now, on a walk. Oh, I should step back. I'm a veteran of the cultural wars of the 1960s and 70s. I don't get a disability pension or an educational pension, but as a warrior of peace, I carry the scars, you know, of the boots to the kidneys and clubs to the head and dog bites. Those were all the things that we endured in those times as the dispossessed, as the long forgotten, as the mongrels that nobody wanted, for the prophecy, to fulfill the prophecy of this time for right now. So we're in our time. We are at the intersection of the arc of history fulfilling itself right now. We're the people. This is it right now. We don't know what's out there. We don't have time for tomorrow. We only know right now. Today I brought the lineage of the modern progressive movement that we're talking about. Everything that we talked about was realized by the Mahatma, practiced by Martin Luther King in his realization and the fulfillment of the middle passage and of the fulfillment of the promised land. These are not just pretty words, these mean something. We're attaining something. It's like when the Europeans came and they followed the dream of liberty towards Philadelphia for the fulfillment of liberty. It means something. My own mentor, Cesar Chavez, who was not only a Gandhiite, most people don't know, a yogi, and a vegan, long before it was cool. This lineage has carried us to this day. I'm going to talk about it more at the fire. I'm kind of, I know we got to go, but did you all know we have a flame, each of us, our own selves now? We carry that liberty. It's not pretend, it's not a poem, it's not a fantasy. Did you hold this? It's not a fantasy. So all of us, take the dampers off, the fear, the miscommunication, the doubt, the lack of confidence. Wherever you came from, whatever, everybody's got a story. Let's step over that story now, because we have something bigger to do. Martin Luther King told us, this is the time beyond tribes, nations, cults, and groups now. We have to really become the humanity that has been fulfilled. And that's us, Albert. This is us. So, again, get all your things in March.